if when your ex broke up with you, they said they were unsure as to whether or not they were making the right decision, and they could see how they could regret it at some point in the future, but yet they're still breaking up with you, watch this video for an explanation. Hey, I'm Coach Benny, and I help people get their exes back. And for 5 years, I was a dating coach where I had to pay attention to what created attraction in other people. And when your ex breaks up with you and they're sad about it, but they're following through with the decision, and they're saying, you're asking them, do you see a future with us? And they're telling you, I don't want you to wait. I don't know if I'm making the right decision or not. I could see myself regretting it later, but unfortunately, I have to break up with you. The breakup is a coping mechanism for somebody with a dismissive avoidant attachment style. The reason they're breaking up with you is usually one of the following things. They get overwhelmed in the relationship because they've spread themselves too thin from not setting boundaries with people. And now all of a sudden some big life event comes along, like they lose their job or somebody in the family dies or whatever. And because they've already spread themselves too thin, they have to axe the relationship because they're overwhelmed. Another thing is they're typically highly independent from having been neglected in childhood. And so they're scared to lose this independence because that's the thing that got them through their childhood. So the more interdependent you come as a couple, that's actually threatening their survival. And so they go back to, earlier times in their mind. They're like, hey, I need to get back to that independence because that's what, made me safe. And so they can break up with you because of fear out of losing this independence. Now, dismissive avoidants have a fear of commitment, and part of it's the, loss of independence. Another thing is they're afraid that they won't be able to achieve what they feel like they need to achieve to finally get the love of their parents. This is subconscious here, because they might have had an overly critical parent that was always setting the bar really high. Okay, and they could never meet it. So they feel like, hey, how can I love you the right way when you're asking for my time and attention, but I need to go work 16-hour days in order to go make that $1 million that my parents told me I needed to make if I wanted to amount to anything in the world. They also have a fear of commitment because they feel like they can't give you what you need. You're asking for more time, for more communication, for you to consider their feelings. And they feel like they're not up to the task because they themselves are emotionally neglected. So they don't really have the skill set or the frame of reference for what that proper participation in the relationship should look like. And so the intersection of all these problems becomes the perfect storm for them, becoming overwhelmed. A lot of times they'll go in a depressive state. They'll push you away. Sometimes they push other people away. Maybe they'll stop cleaning up their house. They kind of go down the tubes a little bit because of this coping. And that's why they're not really certain about the decision. They're going to follow through with it. They feel like it's the right thing, but they're not quite sure, again, because it's coming from an insecure place. The wound for the dismissive avoidant is a feeling of brokenness, and that's what's driving this behavior in the relationship and causing them to break up with you instead of staying through and working through the problems. Now, if you want a redhead like me on your side to help you get your ex back, click the link in my profile, click this link down here, set up a call with me and tell me your story. And I'll give you that game plan, step by step, to get your ex back.